Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
Welcome to the Double R Show. We do have an opportunity today to talk about one of my all-time favorite subjects.
What would that be?
Let me think. Something's traveling around in my brain, and it just...
It's always traveling around in your brain.
It's always traveling around in my brain. Today we're going to have an opportunity to talk to two people that have lived in Lincoln City a number of years, now live elsewhere around the world, and another gentleman who travels around the world for business. So this is going to be rather interesting. Let's go traveling. Always traveling.
The wild-eyed Southern boys are back. 38 Special. Rocking into the night. Saturday, September 6th, Chinook Winds Casino Resort. Get tickets now at ChinookWinds.com, Chinook Winds box office, or by phone at 1-888-MAIN-F. Don't miss 38 Special, live. Chinook Winds, where concerts are better at the beach.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, "The service was friendly and efficient." Another writes, "La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food."
32 years ago, a couple moved to Lincoln City from Deutschland, from Germany. And now they are returning to Germany. I have to believe it probably has something to do with grandkids and kids. With me is Monika Hucke. Am I right?
That's totally correct.
32 years in Lincoln City. You had the Sears store, then the appliance store.
Yes. After a while, we had to go independent, and we should have done that much earlier.
Should have.
Yeah.
But that was history.
That was history, yeah.
Now, you're going to be moving back to Germany. And what I really want to talk about is that you are originally from Germany. You know what a tourist has to see.
I think so,
I
yes.
think so. What are some of the highlights that, if I'm going to go to Germany, is not miss?
Okay, so all Americans I know do either the Rhine River or do southern Germany. And there is, in my opinion, because I went to college there, you cannot miss Berlin under no circumstances. And you cannot miss the Baltic Sea, really, too. So there are beautiful old places where our last emperor already vacationed, and those are completely intact and beautiful little vacation spots in Germany.
The one thing you mentioned, Berlin, that still sticks to my head going into Berlin is the Jewish cemetery, or I don't know if it's
the Holocaust Memorial.
Holocaust Memorial. Stunning.
Yeah, it leaves you kind of speechless.
Oh, yes.
Yes, there is, and also, the cemetery, the Jewish cemetery, and all the memorials that are there, really, all the people that fought against the Nazi regime, and it's all well worth visiting.
Now, let's go to southern Germany, Stuttgart, or Munich, or where are we talking about?
Most people would go to Munich.
Okay.
I would not miss Heidelberg.
Oh, no.
That is...
Especially on the Rhine.
Yes. And Augsburg. There are beautiful places besides Munich in Bavaria. I mean, the land of the lakes. And Königssee is one lake that is so unique and in the world, I think.
How so?
They have this echo thing on that lake, on a boat, and through their mountains that surround that lake. If you hear your echo when you call your name or call any name,
wow.
You hear it about 28 times. It's such a unique acoustic there that is, it's really indescribable, and it's so quiet and peaceful. you have the feeling you're all alone in this world. And you have the beautiful mountains surrounding that deep green water of that lake. So it's really stunning.
The Rhine River is just something all to itself.
Yes.
You go from Basel to Amsterdam or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, some town next to it. Yeah.
some little town.
Some little town next to Amsterdam, yeah. We had friends visiting us in Germany 2 or 3 years ago, and we asked them what they would like to do while they are there, and they said, oh yeah, they would like to see some castles on the Rhine River, and some of these little villages and little towns, they wanted to try some German wine.
Absolutely.
Sure. And then, so she said, my friend said, do you think we can look at 5 or 6? And then we were Googling it because we had no idea which ones would be good to visit. And Germany has 26,000 castles.
26,000?
Yeah, we were guessing 500 to 1,000.
26,000?
26,000 castles. We were totally flabbergasted. So yeah, we had a good selection of castles we could visit along the Rhine River with different cities.
I think one of my fondest memories is sailing down the Rhine, sitting up on the top deck, sipping champagne in the sunshine, and sailing past 26, 28 castles or whatever it was.
Yeah,
stunning.
On one champagne glass, yeah.
On one glass of champagne.
It is stunning. And it's stunning. It was always a border river. It was always, there was lots of fighting going on. So they all had beautiful castles in high places. And yeah.
Now the food, what should I not miss in food in Germany?
I would say white asparagus with a Wiener Schnitzel, or
white asparagus with Wiener Schnitzel.
White, okay. Yeah, that was always our start into springtime. Is when the first white asparagus came and got harvested, you had new potatoes, a veal schnitzel, and white asparagus with sauce hollandaise. And that was just, when that day in May or June came, then you knew summer is not far away. And it's such a limited time that this is available. I think the season for white asparagus is only 6 to 8 weeks. So, and then fresh strawberries, because they happen to be at the same time. So that is something nobody should miss. And in the winter time, I would say a roasted duck. Yeah, that would be something really good.
I was told, and I don't know if this is true, that the best restaurants were near cemeteries, because after the service, the burial of somebody, the family would always go have a marvelous dinner.
I absolutely believe that. I haven't experienced it, but I can believe that this is true.
Well, Monika, I appreciate getting to know you. I'm going to miss not having you in Lincoln City, because we spent a lot of time together doing advertising for your businesses.
Yes, I will miss a lot of people here in this town. And I'm sure it's not forever that we will be. First of all, we are still here in the U.S. for quite some time and doing a long road trip now, visiting places we always wanted to visit. We will be coming back for a month in the fall, and we still have a little place now in town. So it's not this final goodbye. And that is something when we decided that it is time to find a place back in Germany, it's exciting and it's sad. And I don't know, I'm between a rock and a hard place there.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, auf Wiedersehen.
Zantello Law Group has moved. I'm Josh Zantello, and our law firm is now located across from the Lincoln City Community Center on Northeast 21st. Our law firm of knowledgeable professionals stand ready to assist you in life's matters.
You are invited to the 2025 Lincoln City Prepare Fair on Saturday, September 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the St. Clair Fire Station in Taft. Learn about disasters and how you can be prepared for emergencies of any kind. With emergency supply giveaways, raffle drawings, emergency food samples, and a mini carnival, this will be a great time for the whole family. Best of all, Northwest Natural will be providing a free lunch. Join us for the Lincoln City Prepare Fair. Thank you to our sponsors Northwest Natural and North Lincoln Fire Department.
Former fire chief for North Lincoln County and now a resident of Thailand. Welcome back home, Don Baker. Good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Roger.
You were fire chief here for North Lincoln Fire and Rescue. What years, Don? 22
years. So I came here in 92, the end of 92, and then I guess it was 2016, I think, is when I retired. Yeah.
Well, that's quite a career.
Yeah. As you remember, you remember a little bit of the old days. You know,
sure.
I was hired by Taft, Scotts Lake, T&D.
T&D.
It was before we had North Lincoln here, so.
That's a long time ago. Now you're living in Thailand. Why Thailand?
Oh, well, that's really kind of a pretty simple story. Lifetime long friend of mine, he retired and he landed in Thailand. And I was coming up within, within my 2-year, my 48-month window of planning on retiring. And I always planned on going outside the country to spend time, though I never figured Asia. And he said, hey, you need to come over here and visit me. And that's what I did. I went over there on a couple of vacations, and then I ended up meeting a nice lady that we got married this last June, and she's Thai, and so that's where I am.
How are you accepted?
Oh, very well, actually. The Thais, it's hard. I hate to compartmentalize people,
Right.
But they're very open and very friendly. The area I live in relies a lot on tourism and foreigners that are living there. So generally very welcome. Because they're not an English-speaking country, unlike, say, you go to Malaysia, or if you went over to Burma, they speak a lot of English there. So sometimes it's difficult to get to know the people if they're not speaking English. But
have you learned the language?
Oh, very little, And your listeners can't see, I wear a cochlear implant. And so Thai is what's called a tonal language. And it's like a 4-tonal language, I believe, which means that they say a word, if you don't get the tone, just the right tone of that word down, they just will not understand you. And unlike English, we can get it close, and we pretty much go, yeah, I know what they're saying. So now maybe that's just an excuse, though, for being lazy and not wanting to learn it.
We talked a little bit, you were at the Community Days banquet, and we had an opportunity to visit a little bit there. You were telling me of the number of Russians that live in the area where you live. Yeah, there is quite a few. And since I started going there, and I started going there in 2017, I guess, there was always quite a few Russian tourists around there. Not a lot, but since the pandemic, we've seen a real drop in the number of Chinese tourists that are there. So now, proportionally, the Russians have jumped way up on the list for proportionally wise. And what's the reaction between you and the other foreign countries? I would say very good. 99.9% of the time, it's very good. The Russians are not as widely as English speakers as some of the other countries are. The European countries, most of those folks, Australia, New Zealand, and those now speak English. Some of the Russians do, but it's usually pretty broken. But I've had some just fascinating conversations. It might be through Google Translate, a lot of it, between like a young couple that was there. They were from Siberia. And he was showing me pictures of his house and ice fishing and all kinds of cool stuff. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to live out of the United States, was to interact with folks from other cultures. I always found it interesting that you never were really an American until you left the country. Nationally, you were a Swede, an Irishman, an Italian, whatever would happen to be. But until you actually left the U.S., then you became an American. I think there's a lot of truth in that statement.
And what that means, then it almost makes you have to make some internal decisions of what that means to you. But then also different people from different parts of the world have much different concepts of what an American is and how they think. And I suppose like a lot of humans, we tend to group people in big groups. So maybe what they're hearing on the news most recently, that type of thing. So.
Okay, got to ask you the question that is burning within me as a travel agent. If I go to Thailand, what should I not miss?
Oh, boy, Roger, that's a really broad question. You shouldn't miss coming and seeing me.
Okay.
So, but, it depends, because Thailand is rich in history and culture, and their culture is, like every other country, is unique. They're somewhat unique for the countries around it because they were never truly colonized. They were occupied a little while by Japan during World War II, but they were never really colonized. So that's why they're not broad English speakers. I mentioned Malaysia and Burma, and if you go to Laos, and you'll see French and English being spoken in those different countries because of those histories there. Thai didn't have that. But they have some wonderful historic places, the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. They've got a few of those that I've visited, and I love old stuff like that. And so it's just been beautiful. Going to Siem Reap over in Cambodia is a nice jump if you hit Thailand, even though that's on my bucket list. So, but Ayutthaya is like one of the former capitals before Bangkok, and just wonderful history, beautiful places.
Don, it's good to have you back home. I understand you're going to be leaving us relatively soon and back to Thailand.
If my visa comes through, I will be going back in just about a week. I'll be flying out next Wednesday. So
back you go.
Yes. So, I miss my wife. She wasn't able to make the trip this time. So immigration with every country is issues. So I'm waiting on my visa. She wasn't able to get hers to come here. So, I'm anxious to get home.
Former Fire Chief Don Baker, thanks for coming. We enjoy having you here. Now we'll let you back to Thailand.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Roger.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries. Joining us next on the Double R Show, we have John Jerkovich, and John I've known for a number of years. He is right now with Viking Cruise Lines. And John, welcome aboard.
Hey, Roger. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone.
You have been to Lincoln City a number of times for lots of different venues. Your take on seeing the world through Viking. Let's talk about that.
Oh, wow. I've been lucky enough to work for this brand for 8 years, and I've gotten some amazing places. I've been in the industry since '89, and I did a lot of Caribbean, a lot of Mexico, but the brand at Viking has brought me all throughout Europe and to Asia, and just recently I did an Egypt cruise on the Nile, and it's kind of the place where I'm at in my life. I want to go to these less visited places and be taken really good care of by a brand that has a good reputation. So that's where Viking fills the spot for me.
They do attempt to go to some of the more exotic places. Is that a way to put it, John?
Yeah, there's some itineraries that, people, when they think of cruising, they don't oftentimes first think of river. So they wouldn't think of going to, Vienna or Budapest or Cologne. And those are pretty tried and true places that we visit, but I still think of them as kind of, more unique, because when you go to Europe, you think of London, you think of Paris, you think of Rome, but, all these river cruises go to these cities that are a little less traveled.
Lot less traveled, and all of a sudden you are within the heart of a city like Paris, and you're going to sail to Normandy. Leaving from downtown Paris and returning is an experience to itself.
That has been a boon for us. We actually built some ships during the pandemic. We used to leave from a little suburb where you could see the Eiffel Tower off in the distance. It was quite small. There was a town called Lupec. And we told everybody it was Paris, but when they got there, they realized that the Eiffel Tower was a bit of a difference. So during the pandemic, we created a smaller version of our ships that allowed us to get through the last set of locks. There's some rules that Paris has regarding, how you maneuver when you get closer to the city. And the new ships were definitely built for that. So we leave right under the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower and the Champs-Élysées. It's definitely where you want to be leaving when you say you're going to be leaving from Paris.
Now, talk a little bit about the Danube.
That's what started it for me. I was fortunate enough to join Viking, and my very first cruise was from Budapest to Passau. And, I heard about river cruising, but when I got on board and just the ease of the smaller number and the ship that's very compact, I will always hold that as my favorite vacation that started it for Viking for me. Begin with, I like the fact that you go to these two very close together cities that are just a world apart. You've got Budapest. It was behind the Iron Curtain. It was a darker history. The buildings are very ornate and moody. There's kind of a bohemian feel to the city. And then you go like a day later, you're in Vienna, and it's just refined, and you've got the classical music and the very pristine buildings. The architecture is very different. And that's where you find cafe culture. It's not like going to Starbucks. When you go to a cafe in Vienna, you're there for hours. You have like some amazing desserts and coffees, and they're not trying to hurry you out. They know that you're going to be in there for a while. So just a very interesting itinerary. I think leaving from Budapest is probably one of the most beautiful cities on both sides of the river. Buda's on one side, Pest is on the other side. It's all UNESCO World Heritage Site. All the buildings that line the river are protected. I think it's stunning. I fell in love with river cruising and Viking just from that one voyage.
You, at the very beginning, hit a real chord with me, the Nile, and sailing the Nile. You spend, 3-4 days on a Nile? The rest of the time you're tied up in enjoying Cairo. Is that true?
Yeah, for us, it's a cruise tour. So it's a strenuous couple days because you're moving quite a bit because there's so much to see. But you start out 2 nights in Cairo, and that's where you'll see the pyramids, and you'll see a lot of museums. And then there's an early flight, a chartered flight, so it's built into the cruise, and you fly about an hour from Cairo to Luxor. And that's where you'll start seeing the temples. That's where the ship is docked. And you're going to be cruising a couple hours here and there. There's not a lot of overnight cruising because you're not going too far. So you move, you see a temple, you see the area that they've excavated. Most of this area that you visit was under sand and water. So when you go to these temples, the colors are all the same as they were, 3,000, 4,000, 60,000 years ago. And the structures are huge, and you can literally touch them. I mean, they probably don't want you to, but it's just so amazing to be in these places. And of course, there's a Egyptologist with you the whole time, and they're explaining all the history. I mean, if they're making it up on the spot, they're really good. I'm pretty sure that this is all stuff that they've remembered from their coursework. And it's phenomenal. And then, of course, we went to the Valley of the Kings, and we went into the actual tombs, and you get to go see King Tut. And this is unbelievable that they were able to create these secretively so deep into the hillside and then, seal them up. And of course, most of them were raided, but Tut's was the most intact one they'd ever found. It's just phenomenal. I did a balloon ride over the Valley of the Kings in the morning. Very peaceful. It's just stunning the whole time. I have to say it changed me as far as travel goes. I have a greater appreciation for how they live. I have a greater appreciation for how I live. The very last day, you do fly back to Cairo, and you go to the Grand Egyptian Museum. They've been building this museum for, I want to say, over 5 years. I think it's close to 7 years it took to build, and it's $1 billion, and they call it their gift to the world. They have brought in all the artifacts that they've collected. It's stunning, and their idea is they want to house King Tut's treasures, but they also want to get back the treasures that other parts of the world have taken from them. So they now have this perfect museum to display these things, like the Rosetta Stone, but it's up to these other countries to give this stuff back. But Egypt definitely has a reason to ask for it, I think.
Everybody can hear in your voice the passion you have for traveling with Viking and on the river and around the ocean. We'll have an opportunity, people have an opportunity to talk to you one-on-one come October 7th at Senior Fair in Lincoln City.
I have that on my calendar. I'll be there. I've been there a couple times, so if anybody hasn't come talk to me yet, I'll be there. And I do love talking. Hey, I'll talk to anybody about a cruise, but it definitely swings towards Viking the more I talk to them.
I look forward to having you back again, John. Thank you much.
All right, Roger. Thank you.
You'll find a book for every occasion at Bob's Beach Books. Something to read as you relax by an open fire? We have it. Studying a particular topic? We have that too. Traveling to a far-off land? Discover it first by reading. Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City? Come discover.
Home-style cooking in a hometown atmosphere. Hi, I'm Adina from Zeller's Restaurant in Rose Lodge in Lincoln City. Join us daily for good fun and great food. You can even kick up your heels at Zeller's.
And our special thanks go out to Monika and to Don and to John for joining us today on my travel report, if you will. I love to travel, and I love to talk about travel.
Traveling is the best thing. So it's the gift that you want to give yourself and your friends and neighbors, right?
Absolutely, and your family.
And your family, yeah.
Yeah, take your family traveling. Expose everybody to another culture, and you will learn so much for yourself.
Yeah, and I think that was really clear with when we had Don on in particular. That was one of the reasons he wanted to live overseas, is to be exposed to other cultures, to learn. And so that's a gift that it gives that you definitely want to enjoy yourself.
And he went
Thailand,
halfway around the world in Thailand.
Yeah.
And Monika over in Germany. We know that Monika is listening to this program. Our numbers have jumped way up. Our
the German contingent, the Deutschland contingent is doubled or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. I do appreciate that. It is fun. We have a big band music dance with the Lincoln Pops Orchestra. This is the third Thursday of every month, 7 to 9:30 out at the Glennon Beach Community Club. Admission is only $10. Also like to remind everybody, September 3rd, library board meeting at 3:30. This is a regular monthly meeting. On Monday, September 8th at 6 o'clock, the Lincoln City Council in regular session, and the Public Arts Committee on September 10th. So those are some of the things upcoming citywide. We have the Senior Fair, October 7th at Chinook Winds Casino Resort. Booth space is quickly selling out, thankfully. I'm happy to report, but there still is some spots available. The people attending will have an opportunity to potentially win $100 every hour on the hour. And if your name is called and you're not there, the next hour it becomes 200, 300, 400, on up the scale. But we're going to be drawing for $100 every hour at a minimum. Compliments to Chinook Winds. Stuff a Bus, September 5, donations at the Lincoln City Gifts. And, of course, starting at 10 o'clock on the 5th, you'll have an opportunity to come in and pick up a bag of back-to-school supplies, a back-to-school backpack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that Sharon was talking about how many backpacks that they also have donated from Lincoln City outlets as a kind of a buy one, get one kind of thing. That's that they've been offering.
It's really been good. Celebration of Honor, September 10, 11, and 12 up at Chinook Winds, and we have all of these marvelous displays coming in. We have a lot of veterans in this area that need assistance, need help, need somebody to talk to. This is going to be the place if you have such a veteran in your household, or you know of such a veteran, make certain that they get up to Chinook Winds, because there are people there that can help, want to help, and will help.
Yeah, it's a real resource kind of fair, as well as being a solemn and memorable event.
Anything else your side of the table?
Well, just a heads up that we are getting close to back to school, as we know, and so people want to be mindful on the roads. But the last thing, just a happy birthday wish to my lovely wife, Allison.
Well, happy birthday, Allison. That works out. That'll do it to the Dunes on a Double R show. For Paul, I am Roger. Remember to like, subscribe, share, so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us on a Double R show. Have yourself a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.